Hello everyone, this is another quick video. I hope it's quicker than my last one, because on my last one I said it was going to be quick and then it ended up being like 15 minutes. But I guess I physically cannot talk for like a short period. A lot of stuff regarding fandoms that I'm a part of happened, including the ending of the Magnus Archives. My first real video on this channel was an over an hour long YouTube video talking about the Magnus Archives entities. The fucking paper, the stupid fucking idea I had for this video, which was like to put the things on the wall, is still fucking there. And it's now over. It's now over. And I kind of want to talk about it. The ending was really deserved. I feel like that's like my greatest feelings towards the ending. It felt like an ending that was deserved for the characters and set up for the story. I don't think it lived up to the expectations people had for the finale of the Magnus Archives, but at the same time, I feel like nothing would, because the Magnus Archives had an intensely good season 4 finale, and I don't think it is possible narratively to like one up whatever the hell they did on the finale of season 4. With that being said, it is still a very good finale. Now, in order to talk about the conclusions and thematic importance of the episode, first we need to talk about the themes. The Magnus Archives is it's a cosmic horror podcast. The series is 99% just metaphors. Almost everything that happens on the series is like metaphors. And as the series went on, it just got progressively more and more that. Imagery after imagery after imagery after imagery. The last season was like the one that nailed that idea the most. Because of this, the interpretations of the ending and of the themes of the series will vary from person to person. That's also something that I mentioned on my entities video. Remember, this is like all my interpretation of the series as I'm like listening to it. The main themes that were established were the themes of trust and love and the theme of capitalism. The themes of trust and love was really important because one thing that the series keeps trying to show and nail to the audience is the fact that love and the people around you and the little and communications and connections ground you in a way from all of the problems of the world. It is like a point that is made a lot of times that the main characters wouldn't have as many problems as they do if they just fully talked. The Magnus Archives is probably one of the best situations where I see where the lesson friendship saves the day is really well applied, because it's kind of like if the protagonists of a show had friendship saves the day as like the lesson, but in order to get the message across makes the protagonist not have friends. You know, like that's the sort of thing that the series was trying to go for. The second theme of the series, a very anti-capitalistic message. Fuck the system, fuck capitalism, fuck all of these shitty people in power sort of story. You can see this both through the actual plot, where a lot of the bad things that are happening in the Magnus Archives are the results of rich, greedy British man. There's a lot of plot that could be boiled down to British people having British old man having a whole lot of ego. And that's something that it is on the plot, but there's also a lot of metaphors, because the entities in the Magnus Archives are used in a lot of ways as metaphors for problems in the world, and a lot of times these problems are related to capitalism, and particularly related to how capitalism actively relies on certain systems not functioning and certain people suffering in order to work. That was a plot that I think that became really, really apparent in middle of the series, and 5th season, which is the last one, it became so strong that it became quite triggering, actually, which is something that I mentioned. The Magnus Archives is a very triggering series, and the 5th season, because it goes all metaphorical and stuff, it could like talk about certain issues more directly, and it really explored that, and it became quite triggering. And these two themes, I think they were kind of wrapped up before the season finale. They were kind of like closed in a way before the arc started, because by that point, the main characters, more particularly John and Martin, who are in a relationship at that point, had already realized what happened was due to like not trusting and due to not being close and not relying on others. In Martin's case, in his lonely episode where he's almost claimed by a lonely domain and then comes out by remembering that he has friends and he has his boyfriend, and I'm going to talk more about that. And it was really cute, and that was explored with that, and also with John being very adamant that they need to make the decisions in group because they're all responsible for what happens and all of that stuff. I think that arc was kind of settled in a way before this. Also, like, there's a lot of regret and thinking about the people that they missed. That's also like a big thing. And the capitalist message, as I said, a lot of the stories in season 5 are very directly to that section. The message was kind of sent, so I was like, what are they going to do to close down the series? And they did it in a very interesting way. The theme that they used for the final episode, and that is a little bit more implicit than the other ones, is the idea that fear isn't real. And I think that's really interesting. The thing is, the series tell us, the spectators, that the entities want to be real. They want to exist. That's why they feed off of more of the fear of humans, and that's why they call upon people who are too greedy or have a lot of desire or search for more, and that's why they possess people and turn people into avatars, which are the monsters in the series, because they want to be more than merely a concept than merely an idea that gives people fear. They want to exist. And fear, by its definition, it's not necessarily something, it's a feeling. It's not something that is real. It's a feeling that is affected by your surroundings and can affect real life, but it isn't in itself real. And it is said in the series that the entities follow that same rule in a way, that same logic. The choice basically was divided between like keeping the entities on their world or sending the entities to a parallel dimension. And keeping the entities on their world meant that the entire world would eventually die. Since the entities are constantly feeding off of fear and constantly doing all those awful things, there's not more people like being born. It's impossible to avoid death. Everyone who is like on the ruined world that was created by the entities will eventually die, and when that happens, all of the entities will starve and die. And the only two technically that knows this in a way is the web and the end. It's said on the last episode that it's the web, but it's implied that the end knows that as well, because the end is like the fear of death. So it's kind of okay with that. It really is. It knows that everything ends, and it's like, cool. But the web doesn't want that to happen. The web wants to continue to gain more and more and more and more and become more real. And that's why the web wants to be poured into other dimensions. And it's kind of like said that the entire series is kind of a plot, a manipulation from the web in order to open the possibility to escape. So it's a moral dilemma. Keep the entities on a ruined world that is damned to die, and damn every single person that lives in that universe, basically. And there's the other option, which is to like make things better for the universe, give a chance for them to rebuild, and then pass on that idea that they're going to be weaker on these other universes. They're not going to like be a world of chaos, pass on the apocalypse. These people from the other universes, they will have to deal with that fear too, but in that case it will be their choices that will decide of whether the fear is real or not. That thing, I immediately thought, that's a big capitalist metaphor, because the thing of the world that we live in now is that we live in a world where there's people in power who just want more and more and more, and their actions are destroying everything in the world. And some people believe that that's just humanity's fault, that everyone is to blame, and that we're all going to die, and that's okay, better, because then we all are extinct anyway, and like the people who are in power are dead, so whatever, if everything else that is good is also lost. That option kind of gave me that vibe of everything is bad, so everyone should die. It's a capitalist lie that tries to make you believe that nothing can be changed, that it's better if everyone dies. John is like on that side. He believes that things should like end and as fast as possible. And I think there's also like the thing in the series, because he, as like the archivist, as the bigger avatar, he can make things go quicker if he becomes like the ruler of that world. So he was like, let me become God and let me like make everyone die quicker. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a huge metaphor. To me, that just screams like huge corporation or huge rich dude just going. They make a plan to like follow with the plan to like banish the entities to another plane, because most of the people of the group obviously were against just let people die, which is the case is Martin, Basira, Melanie, and Georgie. And there's also another thing. I loved how Georgie finally admitted. I was getting kind of pissed and no one was going to mention this, but before I kind of didn't like Georgie as much. I really liked her in season 3, and then I disliked her on season 4 because she was like, I'm going to stay away from everything, I'm going to protect everything, that's the best way to survive. But I also feel like when you know something is going on, it's also bad to just be completely passive about it. I think Georgie like was guilty of that, and the series hadn't addressed it. But they addressed it not on this episode. They addressed on the last one, but that's cool. I like that. They planned on going to the plan of banishing the entities, but John was like, no, I cannot let that happen. He wants to do well. He just believes that's the right thing to do because he fully believes that it's worse to just let them live, even if someone else can deal with the problem. And then we get to like the segment that I really love, because he like kills Elias, because in order to banish, he needs to kill Jonah Magnus, who is Elias. And there's a really cool scene of him like punching Elias and being like, this is for Sasha and this is for Tim. And I was like, because I don't know, it's really cool. It's also really nice seeing like Elias fear death and then being confronted by the fact that he caused that death for so many others, for like, and now he's saying that he fears death, even though he literally was responsible for the death of countless people, you know, and that was really cool. It's also cool listening to Elias be scared. He dies. Elias dies. Hallelujah. The bitch is dead. And then John becomes God, like he ascends. And then Martin comes in, and it's really cool because again with the theme of like love and trust, John and Martin had they had a promise that they wouldn't like go to one place without the other, but John was like, no, I need to do what I think is right, and like moved along, but Martin wouldn't let him do that. He wouldn't let him do that because of the promise. So he knew that John would do this, so he made like the girls go and set the place on fire, and then it came to a choice, because what they could do is like destroy the whole place, but the entities would still be there. But John would like, he would probably lose a piece of himself. What I got, because it was kind of vague, that part, what I got is that John would lose like a piece of himself, and he would also not be able to leave the building. He would probably just stay on the rubble forever. And because of this, John was like, please leave, you're going to die. He wasn't going to die, but Martin was going to die if the entire building collapsed because of the fire, because of the archives burning. And but Martin was like, no, I won't go to anywhere without you. We made a promise. And that's what leads to John deciding to let the entities go. And I think that's really important because, again, the thing that TMA was really adamant about through the series is that love and the connections that you have with people is what saves you from fear. So it's what grounds you from fear. It's what will lead you to go through these things. And that's a major, major, major theme in the series. So John's love for Martin is what essentially saves him from destroying the entire world, is what, for a second, wait, I'm going to, like, decide what it says. I have the transcript open. This is not going to be a quick video, fuck me. Or Martin saying, I'm not leaving you trapped here, killing the world while I watch. And again, that's also, like, thematically important because the thing of the eye is, like, looking and never doing anything. So I think it's also important of, like, the way this is phrased. Like, killing the world while I watch. And then, like, he says, so, okay, where you go, I go. And then, John, that's the deal. Maybe we both die, probably, but maybe not. Maybe everything works out, and we end up somewhere else. I think that's also important because that also says hope. Before this, there was no hope. Everyone was going to die. Now they may die now, but now maybe there's hope that they won't die. And I think that's also important because that also leads to empathy. That's also what's going to happen to everyone else. They're going to save that particular place, that particular universe, but everywhere else, all of the other universe might also end up, like, really badly. They might, like, end up with the entities and another apocalypse will happen somewhere else. Or maybe they spread to multiple universes and multiple people will die. And I think that uncertainty by hope is really important because it also reflects to their decision to, like, believe that things can be good and doing an action in order to try to make these things be good, even if they don't know the outcome, even if it's, like, improbable. And then they kiss, even though Rosiquel said that there was never going to have a kiss on the Magnus Archives, but it happened, and I was like, there was, like, this post that went around in the Magnus Archives fandom. There was, like, a random guy's comment going, I don't like John and Martin being homosexuals together. Like, something along those lines. I wonder what that guy is doing right now. I wonder how he's feeling. The ending is literally gay people end the world and proceed to save it after. And Martin has to kill John in order to, like, the entities to move through the portal. Actually not kill, but, like, stab him in order for them to move. And maybe John survives in another place since he's, like, connected to the entities. And then they both disappear from their plane of existence. And then there's, like, a kind of like an epilogue where it shows Basira finding a tape. And it says what happens, like, the world is fixed, everything is okay again, but everyone remembers what happened. Which is kind of funny because now every single person on Earth has PTSD. Holy shit. Also, like, all of the avatars that were left behind completely lost their powers. They're not good in the public view. I don't know what they're doing with the avatars. It says that they did something when they found Simon Fairchild. I wonder what they did. They even comment, Basira, Melanie, and Georgie comment that maybe it's better that John and Martin weren't found because they would probably not be well received by the public view, considering that they were very, very responsible for everything. It ends with a really cool dialogue saying, like, oh, should we destroy the tape recorder or should we, and then, or should we do something? And then, like, Basira says that they can probably just turn it off, which is really cool. It's a really good indicator that, like, the entities are out, that it's not haunted anymore. And then she ends with a really, really cool line. If anyone's listening, goodbye, I'm sorry, and good luck. And I think that's really cool because it's like, it kind of like breaks the fourth wall where it goes like, oh, if you're listening to the tapes, that means that the entities are in your world and now it's with you. It's your job now to deal with them. And that's also cool because if we take the metaphor of like everything being a metaphor to capitalism and also being a metaphor for crippling fear and like those sorts of fears, it's saying it's your job to make sure that the apocalypse doesn't happen. It's your job to not make the fears turn into reality. And that's really, really cool. I really like that. I like that sort of meta situation. I also like that the entities are undead because to me, I think one of the aspects of the entities are the fact that they're like fear. Fear never leaves. The things that you need to make sure it doesn't consume you, which I think is like the message of the series. Fear is only powerful when you make it, when you give it power, when you make it real. And I think that's one of the main things of the series. With all of this, yeah, it's over. It's over. I guess I'm free from the horror little gay podcast. I don't know, man. I really liked it. It's the series that was really important to me in a lot of ways. The thematics are really something that fit me in a lot of ways. Was kind of important to listen to, inspired me and stuff like that. The story was very interesting. The world building was very, very interesting, which is why I have a video that is more than an hour long talking about it. These days I saw a comment of a dude going on the internet saying, "Oh, dude, the reason why there aren't a lot of Lovecraftian horror is because these snowflakes nowadays wouldn't be able to deal with Lovecraftian horror, bro. They're too sensitive for that shit." There's always like Lovecraft fanboys who think that people are sensitive somehow for finding it bad that Lovecraft was fucking racist. And that people comment being like, hey, maybe we should acknowledge that Lovecraft was racist. I imagine those types of, like, dude bros. I imagine them going to listen to the Magnus Archives and then being basically, and then realizing halfway through that they were basically duped into listening to an anti-capitalist super gay podcast where gay people destroy and save the world. I don't really know how to end this video, honestly. I'm probably going to make another video soon after this one because there's other stuff that I want to talk about right now.
Then allow me to...
Oh yeah! Follow me on my social media and also commission me. I will love commissions. Please commission me. Please commission me. Please commission me. Bye.
Of course you know how to finish the video. It's her channel. What am I doing? Yeah, bye folks. Happy Easter.